I've already started browning up some of the meat that we are going to need for some of the meals that we are making. In this skillet here, I have 2.5 to 3 pounds of ground beef going, and this is 80-20 ground beef. And then in this skillet here, I have an 8-ounce roll of breakfast sausage. And while those are browning, I'm going to start working on getting my onions cut up. I need a few different types of onions for the recipes that we are going to be doing today. Alright, so I am going to share what my meal plan is with you guys. Here we go. So I'm planning on doing for breakfast options, bulletproof coffee, which that's not really a recipe I have to do now, Southwest egg cups, and blueberry muffins. And then for lunch and dinner options, I'm making a chicken enchilada casserole. I'm making a low-carb chili, and that chili can also be used in chili cheese burritos, and turkey bacon ranch wraps. And then for snacks and sides, I'm making a pulled pork buffalo dip, which I already have my pork in the Instapot getting cooked up. If you're interested in seeing how I do my pulled pork in the Instapot, I'll put the link to the video up above. We're going to have broccoli with butter, and I'm not sure yet if I'm going to do the pepperoni and cheese, but I am going to make jalapeno poppers, which I also have a video for that, so I'll link that as well. And then we're going to have salad for the side. For a dessert option, we're going to have sugar-free Jell-O cups, and we can top that with the canned whipped cream that is keto, low-carb friendly. So I'm just going to set this. I actually made a list here of all the steps I need to go through, which is kind of long, but hopefully we'll get this done in one evening. So I'm going to start chopping my Vidalia onion for the sausage and the ground beef. I am going to start slicing the red onion for pulled pork and the turkey bacon ranch wraps. And then I'm going to dice up the green onion pretty fine. Something I don't have on the list here is I'm going to make some ham roll-ups, and I'll show you how I do that later on in this video. By the way, you guys, my eyes are watering right now. Alright, so our meat is almost done. The hamburger I'm going to definitely strain before I start adding spices to make the chili. And the sausage, I used a Bob Evans sausage, and Bob Evans tends to be, I think, pretty lean. So I may or may not end up straining some of the grease off of that, but I will let you know when that time comes. And let me just bring you over here real quick to take a peek. This is what I'm working on in the Instant Pot. This is probably about a 2-pound piece of pork loin. And nice and brown on one side and brown on the other. And then I'm going to add the onions. But again, take a look down below in the description box to get the link to watch that video, and you can see the whole recipe. Now here are some items I need to make the chicken enchilada casserole. This is just a rotisserie chicken that I have shredded up. I think I used a breast and then both pieces of the thigh meat and shredded that up. And then I have a bag of rice cauliflower, or you can use fresh cauliflower. This recipe also has a video that I will provide in the description box down below, so you can learn how to make that too. It's really, really delicious, I promise you. So I'm going to just get the rice cauliflower into a bowl and get that microwaved, and I'll be right back. Okay, so our ground beef and our sausage are done. I've already added the spices to the sausage. Again, if you want to see how I make the sausage for my poppers, you can check out the video for that. And so for the chili, I had a medium bell pepper that I chopped up. And now I'm just going to get our spices together that we're going to add into there. So we're going to go with some granulated garlic. I like things garlicky, so I am going to use a tablespoon of granulated garlic. And then chili powder. I like things very spicy, so I'm going to add actually I'm going to do 3 tablespoons of that. And there's quite a bit of ground beef, so I know that looks like a lot of chili powder, but it will be fine. Some cumin or cumin, depending where you're from. I'm going to use 2 teaspoons of that. Paprika to help have that nice bright color, and I'm going to use a half a tablespoon of that. I'm going to add about a half a teaspoon of dried oregano. Some cracked black pepper. I like a lot of pepper, so it'll probably be like a half a teaspoon worth by the time I'm done with it. And then some salt to taste. I'm not going to add, that's probably about, I don't know, a quarter teaspoon right there. I'm not going to add too much salt right now. I'll add it to taste later on. So here we go. And let's get this added to our ground beef. Okay, so into the ground beef, I've already added this is 14.5 ounce can of diced tomatoes. And I know some people think tomatoes have too much sugar, but honestly, this whole can has 6 grams minus 2 grams of fiber, so 4 net carbs in this whole can, and this is going to make a lot of servings of chili, so I am going to use them. I also used 2 tablespoons of tomato paste, which I've stirred up with about a cup of water, And again, the tomato paste, this has 6 grams of carbs and 1 gram of fiber, so it's 5 net carbs, but oops, but it's going to be spread out into all of this. So we're not using beans, and you know, it's still going to be low carb, and that's what we are going after in our diet plan. And this will be a thicker kind of chili, not like a soupy kind. Not that I'm opposed to a soupy kind, but you know. And just get all that spice added in there. And let's get this stirred up. And it's smelling good already. I have this pan on medium. I'm going to put it down to a medium low and just let this simmer like that so all the flavors come together. And then once this is cooked, I will put it into meal prep containers. And I should explain, you know, my husband's a truck driver, so I can't exactly know what I'm making for dinner each night. I kind of have to just plan a week's worth of meal options. So I get everything divvied out into meal prep containers, and we both, you know, can just grab what we need. He'll usually take a few days worth with him on the road. If he knows he's going to be out for the week, he'll take more. But it's just easier to grab what we want. It allows us to have a variety. You know, sometimes you have different cravings at different times. So it just really makes things a lot easier for both of us. And I don't know if you can see back here, I've started working on the mix for the chicken enchilada casserole. Alright, so the chili is all done. I am going to get it into the containers. I found this box of containers at Sam's Club. I don't know if they still have it. It's made by Good Cook, and I really love it because there are several different styles of containers in here. So we have these that have the 2 sections. There are round ones with multiple sections, and then there's another one that has 3 sections, and then there are just big ones. But there are a lot of them in here. I don't remember how much we paid. Again, if I can find the link, I will put it down below so you can check that out for yourself. So what we do with the chili is we either eat it like chili with some cheese and maybe a dollop of sour cream on top, or we turn it into a low carb chili cheese burrito. Most regular box stores have these La Banderita carb counter. They do have the Mission brand low carb, but these ones are only 4 net carbs. So I try to go with the ones with the lowest net carbs. And then if you have an Aldi near you, they came out with low carb tortillas as well. And theirs are 4 net carbs each, which is awesome. And the way I put these together in the container is I'm going to put some chili on the larger side. And then I just have some shredded sharp cheddar. You can use whatever kind of cheese you want. Pepper jack, Colby jack, Monterey jack. And I'm just going to put some cheese along the side. And then when we go to eat it, we both usually keep a bag of these tortillas at work. He keeps them on the truck. So depending on how we feel like eating it, it's ready to go. And I'm just going to get the rest of the chili into containers and get them into the fridge downstairs. right, the next thing that I'm going to be working on is the egg cup. So I'm going to get the oven preheating on 350. I like to allow 1 large egg per egg cup. So for the 2 of us, I want 2 days worth of egg cups. So I'm going to make 8 cups. Usually you would eat 2 of the cups as 1 serving. So again, that'll give us 2 days each. So I'm just going to go ahead and get 10 eggs cracked. And I also like to spray my egg cups. Just going to get all of these cracked, and we will move on to the next step. Alright, so I have all 8 of our eggs cracked, and I think I might have said I was going to crack 10 eggs, but no, I'm only making 8 cups. And to that, I'm going to add a couple tablespoons of heavy whipping cream. And I like that because it just adds a little body to the egg, but it also adds some fat. I have some of the onions that I chopped up earlier, and I'm just going to add some of those. And I'm just going to get these whisked up. Now this is some of the sausage that I made for the jalapeno poppers, but I am also going to use that in these egg cups. And this will end up being about a 1/2 cup of the sausage. And then I'm also going to add a cup of shredded cheddar. I'm not going to add any additional salt because between the sausage and the cheddar, it should have plenty of salt. Of course, you can add to taste once you reheat these to eat later. These also freeze really well, so you can make them up ahead of time and pop them into a freezer bag and freeze them like that. It's all mixed up, so I'm just going to start pouring this into my muffin tin. But don't do what I just did. These ones are going to end up being a little shorter because I think I might have overfilled just a little bit. And I'm going to go ahead and get them into our preheated oven. These will take about 20 to 30 minutes depending on your oven. My oven is really old, so it's temperamental. I would just come back at about 20 minutes, take a look, and you'll notice it'll start to get puffy. It'll start to pull away from the sides towards the top, and it'll get a little bit of a golden brown color. The next thing I'm going to work on is making our ham roll-ups or ham pinwheels, and for those I will be using the low-carb tortillas. So I'm going to go ahead and just get an 8-ounce package of cream cheese into a bowl. I've let this sit out a little bit to try and get to room temperature. You can speed it along by sticking it in the microwave for a few seconds if you need to. And I'm going to add some mayonnaise. I use it's going to end up being about a 1/4 cup of mayo, and that just helps loosen this up and makes it spreadable, and it adds fat. And then I'm going to add a tablespoon of this Hidden Valley Ranch dry seasoning. There are 0 carbs in this, so this is really great. We use this on our broccoli, on veggies, mixed into just anything to give it a little bit of flavor. And it is salty though, so we won't need to add any more salt to this. And be careful, if you add too much, it almost becomes so tangy that it's just not very good. And then we have our green onions from earlier that I chopped up. And I'm going to add about, we'll say that's a 1/4 cup. And now we're just going to put some work into this and get it mixed up. Once that's combined, I'm going to take one of my tortillas and just lay it out on my board here. And then here I have some ham off the bone. This is from Meijer, which is a local store. I know a lot of states don't have a Meijer. You want to be careful when you buy ham or any type of lunch meat that you aren't getting something that's sugared, like a maple ham or a honey ham, because that will definitely add carbs. Oh, and before I put the ham on here, I'm going to take some of the filling. It's probably a couple tablespoons worth. And I'm just going to get it spread out onto our tortilla. You could also use the same filling without the tortilla and just put it inside of a piece of ham, roll that up, cut it into bite-sized pieces. That tastes really good as well. And it doesn't have to be perfect because it will roll up and each bite will have the filling. I do like to try and get it end to end though, in at least one section. And then once we have that spread, I'm going to take a piece of our ham and just lay it right in there. And then we're just going to roll it up. Now, before I slice these, I like to let these sit in the refrigerator for even just a half hour, because it just helps everything come together more firmly. So when you slice it, it doesn't gush out. But because I want to show you what this looks like, I am going to just slice through here. Let's see, there you go. And I do them bite size, so these will be a nice little snack. And you know, again, even though there's carbs in the tortilla and in the cheese, you're not going to eat a whole one at one time. So I think it's a nice little snack when you're trying to eat low carb. So I'm just going to continue on, but I'm going to take a bite. They're so good, you guys. Delicious. And I'm just going to finish making these until I run out of the filling. So I've taken our egg cups out of the oven, and as you can see, the ones that I filled to the top, they do get puffy, but these do kind of deflate a little bit as they cool down. So that's why I like to overfill them a bit so they're nice size. As you can see, these are going to be pretty small, but I'm just going to keep them in the pan and let them cool down, and then I will get them out of here and put them in baggies 2 at a time. Our egg cups have cooled, so I am just going to put them in a Ziploc bag for now, and then when I put together all of our meal prep, I will divide them up. But this is what they end up looking like. And with these Southwest, I use the Southwest sausage on here, so I like to top these maybe with a little bit of sour cream or a little bit of guacamole just to make them even better. Okay, I've been doing some work here behind the scenes, and I have a tray of jalapeno poppers all ready to go into the oven. I'm going to put those in now. Again, if you want to see the recipe for these, I will link that down below. They are really, really good, you guys. So while I have those working, I also want to show you that I went ahead and cut up a bunch of celery. I have more jalapenos that are cleaned out, ready to go for my next batch of poppers. I shredded some heads of lettuce. This is going to be for our wraps for the week. And what else? I want to get our ham rolls sliced up. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. They've been sitting in the fridge overnight, so they're nice and firm. Not hard, but you know, they're not coming apart. And I like to just cut the ends off. I'm sure as Matt comes strolling through here, he'll come and grab those. But I just do maybe about an inch size pieces, just like that. And these are a really great thing to bring if you're having potlucks at work and, you know, family events, and you want to bring something keto friendly for yourself or low carb for yourself. Go ahead and bring some of these ham pinwheels. They are really delicious, and nobody would know any different that these tortillas are low carb versus regular tortilla. So I'm just going to go ahead and keep getting these sliced up, and we will move on to the last couple of things I need to do for this week of meal prep. Our jalapeno poppers have come out of the oven. I'm just going to let these cool, and then I will get these separated into containers for both of us. And then I still have the oven preheated to 350, and I have our chicken enchilada casserole ready to go. And I'm going to put that in the oven. Again, if you want to see what this recipe looks like, I have a video linked down below. Alright, while the casserole is doing its thing in the oven, I'm going to show you excellent low carb blueberry muffin recipe, and it is from the Southern Keto Cookbook. If you are only ever going to buy one keto cookbook, I highly recommend this one. If you like comfort food, Southern food, the author of this book, who is Natasha Newton, has done such a good job putting together so many delicious recipes. Yeah, we really love it. These are the blueberry muffins. This is something we make regularly, and we really enjoy them. So I hope you do too. Again, if you are interested in learning more about this book, I will put the Amazon link down below. So what I'm going to do is, since this is not my recipe, I'm not going to give all the measurements, but I will take you through the ingredients and the process. You want to mix the dry ingredients separately and the wet ingredients separately. So what I have here is just some finely sifted almond flour, and then I'm going to add some erythritol sugar. You could use Splenda, you could use whatever sweetener you like. I really like this erythritol from Amazon. Erythritol is equivalent to sugar as far as measurements go, so it's really easy to swap this out in recipes. I will put the link for this in Amazon down below too, because I've shopped these in the store, not this particular brand, but I think that is a really good value for the price you can get it for. And we're just going to add some baking powder. And the recipe does call for a little bit of salt. Okay. And I'm just basically going to get this combined. Since the wet or the dry ingredients are going to be going into the wet, I don't use a really big bowl for this part. Okay. Now, I already cracked 4 large eggs, and I'm going to be adding sour cream. And you want to use regular sour cream, you know, full fat sour cream. You don't want to get a light or a fat free because it really won't bake the same way. And then it calls for vanilla. And at this point, I'm just going to poke my yolks here and whisk up the wet ingredients. Just want to get it combined so the sour cream is fully combined in there. And then once it's combined, I'm just going to start gradually adding the dry. If you already have the Southern Keto Cookbook, what are some of your favorite recipes in there? Let me know in the comments down below. Okay. And now I just want to combine this really well. Oops. And this is the consistency you're looking for. It's thicker than pancake batter, but it's not quite as dry as like a bread dough batter would be, I guess. And I think when I make recipes with almond flour, like muffins, I think it almost has the texture of cornbread, which I really enjoy. So if you like cornbread, you can also take this recipe, which I've done, and I just take out half of the sugar and I add chopped up jalapenos and shredded cheddar cheese and make like a cornbread biscuit. At this point, our whisk is not going to do us any good because we need to add our blueberries. And I'm using fresh blueberries. The recipe does call for fresh blueberries. I haven't tried it with frozen, but I don't see why frozen wouldn't work, except for possibly it might give off more water, and that could change the recipe. And I'll let you know right now that I do add a little more blueberry than the recipe calls for. I mean, I might as well just add it all, right? But you don't want to get too crazy, or else when you try to pull them out of the muffin tins, they will be too moist, liquidy, and they'll break apart. And I also want to mention that this is a double batch. The typical recipe yields 12 muffins, so this should get me 24, but I think I probably fill my muffin cups a little more than they recommend. But anyhow, I have a dark muffin pan here. The cooking times will vary depending on whether you're using a light or a dark muffin tin. I have used both for this recipe, and I feel like the dark tins do a much better job. And I'm just going to spray these liberally. and just start getting them in the pan. I'm not measuring, I'm just eyeballing. So hopefully we get 24 muffins. I'm just going to finish filling this tin and get them in the oven, and I will show you what they look like when they come out. Alright, so our muffin tray is filled. I'm going to pop these in the oven. I also want to mention that if you follow the recipe, a serving size is 2 muffins, and it nets approximately 3.8 carbs. So here's our chicken enchilada casserole. Guys, look at it. It is piping hot out of the oven, still bubbling. It is so good. You won't even miss that there isn't any tortilla in here. So I'm going to let this cool before I get it divided up. I have one more recipe that I actually need to cook. Thank you, Jesus, because your girl is tired. This is 2 days worth of cooking now that I'm doing, and it really is exhausting, but anything worth having isn't easy, right? And in order to follow this low-carb eating, I need to get stuff done. So I'm going to put this off to the side, and the next and the last thing I need to cook is the pulled pork buffalo dip, and that is also coming out of the Southern Keto Cookbook. So I will be right back. I'm just working on getting the poppers, now that they're cooled down, into containers. These microwave really, really well. I have not tried freezing them, but I'm thinking that they may freeze pretty well also. I would probably, if I was going to make these for freezer type of meal, I would probably cook them a little less time, so the jalapeno didn't get as tender, and that way when they were reheated after being frozen, they wouldn't completely just fall apart. But as you can see, these store in the containers really easily, and I pop a few onto a plate and throw it in the microwave for a couple minutes, and they're just so good. Yay! Popper's done. Okay, so the last thing that I have to cook today, oh my gosh, is the pulled pork buffalo dip. But before I do that, I'm just going to grab our muffins that I have taken out. This is what they look like. So good. I let them cool pretty well and before I try to pull them out of the tin. So yes, anxious. I think I might have to have one today. I think I deserve it for all this work, you know? Oh my gosh. Okay, so the pulled pork buffalo dip. I have the oven preheated, and I have cream cheese that I have warmed up in the microwave just so it's easier to get this all combined. I have a cup of pulled pork that I made in the Instant Pot. And I have some buffalo sauce. And I'm just going to get all of this combined. And I don't know if I mentioned, if I didn't, this recipe is also from the Southern Keto Cookbook. And once that is done and combined really well, I'm just going to put some shredded cheese on top. And this is a good snack. That's why I have all the celery prepped and ready to go, because you can eat this cold or warmed up. It's definitely better warmed up, just saying, because the cheese will, you know, be meltier. But for Matt, sometimes he doesn't have the luxury of stopping and hooking up his little microwave in his truck and warming things up. So, all right, so I'm going to pop this in the oven. I will show you what this looks like when it's done. I am going to continue assessing my situation and make sure, I need to go through my planning here and make sure that I have done everything that I need to get done for this week. And once this is all finished, I am going to get it all into the meal containers, and I will show you all of our meal containers when I'm done. Our buffalo dip is all done. So I'm just going to let this cool off, and like I said, I will come back and show you everything that I have done for this weekend of meal prep. Okay, you guys, this is everything that I've worked on, let's see, most of Saturday and most of Sunday. It really is a lot of work doing this meal prep for the week, but then I don't have to worry about cooking Monday through Friday, so that is nice. But I'm going to just show you really quick everything. This is the pulled pork dip with the celery. This was the chili and the cheese. This is the chicken enchilada. This is some shredded cheese to give Matt for salads and whatever he needs it for on the road. These were the egg cups. This is for Matt, sugar-free snack pack. This is bacon that we made and separated, one for each of us. These are our poppers. These are fixings to put in a low-carb tortilla, or actually a low-carb wrap. And I've been finding these in our local grocery store, and they have all kinds of flavors. This is the premium white, and these are 5 net carbs. And then I like using these multigrain ones, which are only 3 net carbs. And what else? Lettuce for Matt on the road. Our broccoli for each of us. Matt's beef sticks. Here are the ham pinwheels that we made with the low carb tortilla. Here is some cut up turkey for Matt for salad. Baby bells, which we'll both take some of those. Here's our blueberry muffins. And then we have celery. And then some shredded lettuce to go with the wraps. And then we also both will be taking some low carb tortillas, and that's if we want to turn the chili into a chili cheese burrito wrap. So I hope you guys like these hauls or like these videos. I hope they are helpful to you and can give you some ideas of your own, of things that you can make to eat low carb and stick with it. If you do like these types of videos, definitely give me a thumbs up. Shoot me a comment down below. And until next time, you guys, stay safe and be blessed. I am going to put my feet up. Good night.